Imagine a Blender add-on that lets you light your scenes without all the fuss. That's what Light Wrangler promises, a distraction-free lighting workflow. You can intuitively add and position lights, tweak their properties on the fly, and, well, just have fun with lighting again. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at this add-on and see how it might just revolutionize our lighting workflow. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get started. You can find Light Wrangler on Superhive aka Blender Market, on Gumroad as well. It is fairly affordable, which is a plus. And all the installation instructions can be accessed from the Documentation tab. Once you get it installed, it should appear in the add-ons. Light Wrangler. And the checkbox near its name should be ticked. If you installed it via repository, then it can be updated from within the Extensions tab, which is pretty cool. Using it is super simple. You just right-click, add light, and simply aim it where you want it to be. And honestly, it just feels really fluent, the way the add-on tracks the light based on the surface of the object and where you point it to. Q toggles the menu with the shortcuts. For instance, scrolling the mouse wheel adjusts the power of the light. Shift and mouse wheel changes the size like that. And holding Alt Shift or Control Shift and scrolling the mouse wheel stretches the light on the X or Y axis. Holding Alt while scrolling is for tweaking the distance. So these are the main shortcuts. It takes some time to familiarize yourself with these controls, and then the process starts to feel really intuitive and really fast indeed, without jumping between different menus and stuff. This tool offers several real-time light adjustment modes. The default is reflection mode, activated by pressing 1. In this mode, the light source is positioned to maximize reflection based on the cursor's location and the surface normal. Now, if we hit 3, it will change the mode to direct. In this mode, the focus is on maximizing the diffuse color, also known as the albedo. It might be a little difficult to see the effect here, so I will show you a clearer example. So in reflection mode, notice how the light angles itself to reflect off the surface we're targeting. Now, if we hit 3, it's going to focus on color. And you will see how the light moves itself to hit that surface directly, not at such a steep angle. That's a dramatically different visual than this mode, and it has a huge impact on the colors and everything else. Then hitting 2 changes the mode to orbit, which lets us rotate the light around that anchor point. So we can go around the objects, just like that, and then just click to commit. The last use mode is saved, so if we return to editing this light using the Tab key, it will jump right back into that mode. At any time, we can right-click any light and select Light Ops, Adjust Light, or just press Tab and continue tweaking its properties. And that doesn't mean we lose access to the standard Blender light settings. We can still adjust the power, color, or any other property in those regular Blender controls. By the way, if you're using Eevee, enabling jitter in both the shadows and render settings will significantly improve shadow quality. So that's definitely something you'll want to consider. Instead of adding a new light from the right-click menu, you can just press F9 and then adjust it on the fly, including its power and so on. Another useful trick is to press L to make the light affect only the selected object. Pressing L again excludes that object, and pressing L a third time resets the influence. Needless to say, this is significantly faster than manual setup. This feature alone dramatically accelerates workflow. Just press L to isolate or exclude the object under the cursor from the light's influence. It's so much faster than the default light linking. To sum it up, the typical workflow is using the shortcuts to pretty much adjust lighting in real time. Well, there is a certain learning curve to that. It takes some practice to build that muscle memory and feel truly confident about it. However, once you do, the process becomes incredibly fast and enjoyable. For instance, I've never felt that good about product lighting specifically. I think if you're doing any kind of commercial visualization work, you'll find this makes your life considerably easier. The bottom line is, dynamic light linking is a massive time saver. Let's say you want to isolate the reflection on the table, just L and that's it. The light no longer spills onto the rest of the scene. Then we can tweak its properties and whatnot. Now just add this second light, keep going. Again, L to make it affect only these objects, so we can focus on making it look sleek and professional. F9 to add the next light after that, L to enable light linking. You see how it goes. While Eevee provides a true real-time experience, this tool offers some remarkable features specifically for cycles. The features that modify the light shape for enhanced realism, for example. Incidentally, in the user preferences, you can configure Light Wrangler to display the currently selected lights within the viewport if you wish. Right here. So, the realism-enhancing features are accessible within the light settings, specifically the light customization menu. Default is just a plain, flat area light. However, we can apply scrim material to simulate a soft fall-off, and then adjust the feathering and other options there. This significantly impacts reflection quality compared to the default vanilla cycles lights. And then look at this. The horizontal tilt allows precise control over the light bias, enabling fine-tuning of reflections. And the vertical tilt provides similar control. This allows us to, how should I put it, to sculpt the reflections, location and characteristics with great accuracy. This is one of my favorite features of this add-on. It's so simple and yet so empowering. Just like coffee. You know, I'm thinking for stuff like car commercials, or anything with those super shiny reflective surfaces, that scrim softening thing, that's gonna be a total game changer. Seriously, just those 3 settings. Plus the color temperature, which is like, you know, the Kelvin thing they use in real studio lights. It's just so much control. Like, picture this, you're doing a car commercial. You can soften the highlights on the curves just right. Get those chrome reflections exactly where you want them. It will save so much time, especially on those really picky projects. And on top of that scrim softening, you've also got the HDRI lights control. Basically, it's a whole library of HDRI textures for your lights. Some mimicking real studio lights, other with cool synthetic patterns. And the neat thing is, each one comes pre-synced with different light settings like spread, so you can get totally different looks with just one click. This stuff makes a huge difference, especially when you're working with super glossy things like cars or smartphones. There are all sorts of presets of actual photography gear, like different softboxes, grid patterns, all that kind of stuff. Das Auto. Okay, let me show you one more quick demo of these HDRI lights. And honestly, just watch how they pump up the realism in the reflections. I know, I'm trying not to sound like a total fanboy here, which is tough, because I love this kind of nerdy lighting detail, like having that super fine control over how the lights look. It's awesome! So yeah, here's the side-by-side, see for yourself. Okay, now there's also this HDRI scene rendering feature, which is pretty cool. It lets you bake down these HDRI lights, specifically for Eevee. You can pick your resolution, save it as a 360 degrees EXR panorama and then render it out. It can take you a little while, but then you can take that EXR and drop it into your world shader to recreate that complex lighting setup in Eevee. It won't be a perfect match, mind you, but it gets you most of the lighting information anyway. And then you can render it in real time with Eevee, which is awesome for things like product visualization once again, and well, a bunch of other stuff. Just a little tip, Alt plus right click and drag and you can spin an HDRI panorama around the Z-axis. Pretty convenient, right? Oh, and another thing, this plugin handles IES lights too. So if you got a point light selected, just head over to the light customization tab and choose IES. You can tweak the temperature, rotation, all of that. But the real kicker is you can pick from a bunch of realistic IES patterns, like mimicking different light fixtures. It just instantly adds a ton of realism to those point lights. Another really cool light mode is Gobo. Basically, it's like putting a stencil in front of your light source, and there's a ton of presets to choose from. You've got the static ones like geometric shapes, leaves, that kind of thing, but then there are also animated ones, which you can spot by a little play icon. As soon as you hit play, the animation should start playing automatically. These textures are fantastic for adding some subtle movement to your scene, and of course a good dose of realism. Sometimes it helps to denoise the viewport to get a clearer look. You can tweak the color temperature, the vignette, or feathering around the edges, the rotation, and then there's the focus, which controls how sharp or blurry the texture appears. You can go perfectly crisp, or on the other hand, just soften it a little. Or you can do both. Here's a quick trick. Use a sharper texture along with a slightly softer version of the same texture. You get the best of both worlds that way. Enjoy this soothing animation, and a gentle reminder to like and subscribe. Another feature that I find pretty sweet is the light volume, which adds a volumetric light shaft to your light, and it even takes the Gobo texture into account. And it moves right along the light source. You can control the density of the volume right here, and there's also the uniformity slider. If you lower the uniformity, it will break up the light with some noise patterns, which honestly saves a ton of time getting this effect set up. Sauvage. Now, sometimes you've already got your lighting dialed in just how you want it. You know, you've got your environment set up, the sky texture, whatever, and everything looks great. And if you don't want to add any more overall brightness to the scene, then throwing in another light, even a Gobo, might not make sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So what you can do is start by adding a Gobo just like normal. Then you pick your pattern, all that good stuff. But here's the cool part. If you don't want it to emit any more light, then in the Gobo settings you can convert it to a plane. This basically turns it into a shadow casting stencil. The texture controls its transparency, so it throws these awesome shadows without adding any extra light to your scene. And then with that in place, you can proceed to tweak the lighting and enjoy the allure. It's like we're using the Alpha Chanel of light to create these shadows. So there you have it. That was a quick overview of what Light Wrangler offers and how it makes the lighting workflow more efficient and certainly more enjoyable. You will find my affiliate link in the description below. If you purchase through that link, I will receive a small percentage of the sale at no extra cost to you. I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of this video. This was Gleb Alexandrov for CreativeShrimp.com, making 3D graphics accessible to everyone. Are there any other Blender add-ins you'd like us to review? Leave a comment below and let me know.